Hundreds of thousands of refugees and migrants are trying to escape the conflict in Syria. Many face police blocks between East and Western Europe. Austria and Germany have already accepted thousands of migrants from Hungary. But now Germany says it's starting border checks. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees remain in border camps surrounding the country. WBIR 10 News reporter Rachel Wittel spoke with one East Tennessean who just visited the biggest camp in the Middle East. Rachel.
Aaron, Dean Rice is not only the Knox County Mayor's Chief of Staff, but he was also recently named Global Security Fellow with UT's Institute for Nuclear Security. In June, he put that title into action, traveling overseas to meet Syrian refugees in exile.
It's a humanitarian crisis that we will be reading about in the history books.
The number of registered Syrian refugees reached more than 4 million this month, hitting a dangerous spike since the start of the country's civil war in 2011.
250,000 people, civilians, have been killed by Assad. And yesterday, the big Oklahoma game in Tennessee, Neyland Stadium, filled up 100,000 plus people. Imagine that stadium filled up twice. Those are the number of civilians, men, women, and children that Assad has killed in his effort to keep control.
Knox County Chief of Staff Dean Rice recently visited Zaatari, the biggest 3-year-old refugee camp in Jordan. He traveled as a National Advisory Board member of the Syrian Emergency Task Force and says at least 100,000 refugees stay at Zaatari.
These are people with lives. Each person has a life that they want to be living, but they're left to be on pause in this dry, dusty camp.
While United Nations members are offering to host thousands of Syrians, he says refugees told him they don't want to keep fleeing from home.
They love Syria. It's a country with 2,000 years of civilization, and it's not. They're not wanting to just leave it. But they can't live in a country that its president is intent on killing.
Rice says the crisis rages on because President Bashar al-Assad's violent reaction to peaceful Arab Spring protests.
He is deliberately and methodically bombing civilian neighborhoods, schools, hospitals.
And it's up to us to call for change.
Call your members of Congress, talk to them, encourage them to study the issue and to understand what's going on and to find a solution.
Rice says another way to help out from our homes is to donate to groups like the Syrian American Medical Society. Its volunteers provide medical help to refugees desperately in need. Aaron?